Beginnings are scary, endings are usually sad, but it's the middle that counts the most. You need to remember that when you find yourself at the beginning.
Hello and welcome to the Free Outside Show. I'm your host, Jeff Garmire, and I am back. Today, let's talk about the Chicago Marathon. Let's talk about rebuilding after destroying your body, maybe get into a little bit of the hiking versus running impacts on your body, and then maybe some future stuff coming up. So let's get into it.
What would you do with a brain if you had one?
Do? Why, if I had a brain, I could...
The show is brought to you by Janji, CS Coffee, Garage Rail Gear. Let's get into it. Okay, so I woke up early because I've been like kind of half on East Coast time since I finished the Appalachian Trail. I just am waking up earlier than before. I don't know why. I'm just not sleeping that good, but we'll get into how these things impact your body. But luckily, the Chicago Marathon was on. And what better way to get back into running than watching people effortlessly run 5-minute miles or 26.2 miles. But the nice thing was some of the pros at the front of the field.
It looks like she wiped a tear from her face there for a second. Kira, was I seeing things?
Did show some fatigue. You could tell it was hard for them. So it made me feel a lot more human than when you watch other pro sporting events and it looks just effortless that they're doing incredible things.
It looks like she wiped a tear from her face there for a second. Kira, was I seeing things? She looks emotional.
Yeah, it could have been a tear, it could have been sweat.
Also, my Mariners won yesterday. How long have I been a Mariners fan? About 4 weeks. So yeah, jumping right back in. But it is the team we would go see play growing up. But the Chicago Marathon was funny because it was on NBC Chicago, or I guess NBC in general. And it was like this mix of Olympians and really decorated runners, and then like local news reporters from Chicago. So, you know, it's like 2 hours. So they're filling it with all kinds of stuff. They're talking about the runners, the paces, the course, and everything. And then like 15 minutes from the end of the marathon, they've had an hour and 45 minutes to do anything they want to do. They decide to go live to the CEO of the premier sponsoring organization of the Chicago Marathon. I believe it was like Abbott or something. I don't even know what they do.
I'm here with Chris Miller, who is the with Abbott Divisional Vice President of Global Marketing and External Affairs. Chris, good to see you.
But they go live to him, and we're like 10 minutes away from a American record going down, a possible Canadian record going down, the leader flirting with the world record. And they're like, now let's go live to an interview with the CEO or something of Abbott. And they're like, what is it like seeing all these people run the Chicago Marathon? What is it like raising money and the charity bibs and all this stuff? And it's like, this is probably a good conversation, but we should be building the tension and the competition going on right now. And it doesn't end there. So they, have 3 to 5 minutes. I'm sure it was part of the sponsor agreement that this guy would get interviewed by the broadcast. And, I don't think he's a huge marathoner, but he is the face of the company sponsoring, I guess, maybe the World Marathon Majors. I don't know. I kind of zoned out then. And then I was expecting them to cut right back to the finish line so we can see like Connor Mance come in and stuff like that. But no, then they're like, we're going live to the field.
All right, we want to check in with our neighborhoods
to talk about the neighborhoods it goes through. And then it's a local news reporter who usually just is reporting on local Chicago news. And she's like, of the 242 neighborhoods this marathon runs through,
29 neighborhoods that this race runs through. The runners come from all 50 states and more than 152 countries.
You can see here, Chinatown, the people are out lining the street.
For now, let's check in with Kate Chappell in Chinatown.
Thanks, Michelle. I'm Kate Chappell at mile 21 in Chinatown.
And it's just like, obviously, it wasn't 242 neighborhoods. I don't know if we even have that many in the world, but it was just like, oh my gosh, I love local news. It is so funny how you just take like something that doesn't really fit, or you take a story that isn't really that newsworthy, but you can dress it up and make it the most interesting thing in the world. I also love local news because of like the cadence that they have.
I'll also bring you the stories of some unique and very spirited run clubs. So hang around for that.
I think I've done impressions before, but sometimes I'll do this out on the trail where you're like, I don't know, lost in thought or thinking of something to do. But it's just like if you attach like a local news filter to something, it can be the most entertaining thing in your life. It's just like, just yesterday, a rabid squirrel was found in a tree outside of this house.
Inquiring minds want to know why two talented squirrels are so popular.
We're live on the scene with Shane Smith. Shane, how's it going out there? Thank you for coming to me, Alice. I'm here right in front of where the rabid squirrel lives. It has been wreaking havoc on this neighborhood. So it looks like they will call animal control. And if you don't know, animal control has had cuts the last 3 decades. So consider voting for more funding. Back to you in studio. Thank you. I'm Shane with NBC News Chicago.
More outgoing personality and Twiggy's more introverted. But other than that, they're both squirrels.
So that's basically what like half of the marathon was like the cadence of a local news reporter. At one point near the end, the women's eventual winner, the news reporter or the anchor of the whole thing was just probably a news anchor. And I think she goes, it looks like she's wiping a tear away from her eye. And then the expert Olympian in the studio goes, I think that was just sweat. And then the news reporter or the anchor is trying to save it. And she goes, I think they went to like Kira D'Amato or something and goes, Kira, is she getting emotional out there? And then Kira D'Amato goes, who's the Olympian, like all the experience, goes, well, she might be a bit emotional, but it's also getting hot. So I think she was wiping away sweat. It was just like really funny to hear the banter back and forth of just like try to set something up on a tee and it's just completely wrong.
She looks emotional. Yeah, it could have been a tear, it could have been sweat.
It's, I don't know. I think we've all had those moments where you try to like guess what's happening and you're completely off. And it just kind of felt like a comedy of those situations going on in the Chicago Marathon. But the American record was broken and you could watch somebody run quickly.
And Connor Matz with a new American record.
And not really look like they're working that hard for 2 hours. Very impressive. So that was Road Running Talk with Jeff Garmire. Thank you for joining us. Now, what else did I say? I didn't even write notes.
Oh, I'm a failure because I haven't got a brain.
But I know what I'm talking about. It's all up here, up in the noggin.
What would you do with a brain if you had one?
Okay, next up. So I've been rebuilding. It's been 3 weeks since I finished the Appalachian Trail.
I'm exhausted even just thinking about what he has to go through.
And I started running 1 week ago, but I've kind of maxed myself out at I'm only doing 4 miles a day maximum.
This is me all the time now.
And I'm doing a little bit of speed work in there and some easier days and stuff, but there's just no need to rush back. And as the study I brought you guys last week kind of showed, increasing mileage too quickly leads to a massive % increase in injury risk. So I have been kind of capped at 4 miles. I've been doing some tempo and some threshold and some strides in there. But I've also been noticing like this big change my body went through from doing the AT record, if you will. And a big thing is like I keep feeling a ton of soreness in my calf.
But I'm weak, you know?
And I think it's because the explosive movement of running was largely absent. So for 45 days, the fastest that I probably ever went was like 5 miles an hour. And that was like a run. And, you know, that's pretty good. That's 12-minute miles. Like Oprah would beat me in a marathon, but still pretty impressive. No American marathon record. But I've lost a lot of that explosion and that faster twitch. And I think it just lengthened my muscles. I also think my body ate a lot of my muscles.
A group known as the Donner Party embarked on a perilous journey.
Or used a lot of the stored energy in them for anything that we weren't using. It just, I guess you could say, atrophied or used it as energy because it was such an energy demanding task that I went under. It's been such a slow build.
I'm not well, but I remember what it was like to be normal, so I do an impression of that.
So I ran 4 miles I've basically been running 4 miles every other day and then throwing some biking in between. But my calves are getting so sore, which I think is good because it's rebuilding my body. But man, I just wanted to bring up this thing of how the different movement styles really impact your body. And I think it goes both ways. So through hikers do really well in like 200s, but I think it's such a build and a task to do well at the quicker stuff, quicker movement and things like that. So I've been doing my tempo or my VO2 max, my interval sessions at 6-minute miles. And this is like over a minute a mile slower than what I was doing them at before the Appalachian Trail. So it's a lesson in patience and just taking what I can do. But man, it really changed my body. What other ways did it change me? Well, I still am just not sleeping that good. I'm either like conked out, passed out, dead to the world for like 10 hours once a week or so, once every few days. And then the other days I'll just wake up multiple times and my body just still isn't good at a normal sleep cycle. So that's one way. So sleep, calf muscles that aren't quite as beautiful as they normally are. So that is 2 ways. A third way that this changed me, man, I had a really good one in my mind, but I should have written some stuff down. Let's see. My toes are still numb. I think it's going to be the classic case of Christmas toes. So I should be feeling in those puppies, I would say by Christmas, Christmas toes. And let's see what else. I can't find a razor to shave. So I don't know if that's more of a changing thing or whatever. Another way that it's changed me is I have to pee way more often. I think, just when you're out there and you can pee any time of day, all the time, because it's nature and you can piss all over it if you want. Welcome to modern America. That my body is just used to being able to let it go at any time, and I'm not great at holding it anymore. So that is unfortunate. Luckily, I don't live in New York City, where when I visited there were no bathrooms. And one time I found a porta potty when I was visiting New York, and I went in it, used the restroom, and then I opened the door and came out, and a car like came 1 foot from me. I think that's like one of the moments where it's the closest I've ever been from dying. It was like this porta potty opened right onto the street and I almost got destroyed by a car. It's like, man dies shortly after taking last piss. That might have been like the headline of me dying. Other ways that it's changed me, it's just been like a huge appetite thing. So I could eat probably 16 Talentis in one sitting. My bathroom would really hate if I did that because we're all probably a little lactose sensitive. But man, I could eat a lot. Like I could probably get kicked out of an all-you-can-eat buffet. And if you want to hear about the story of the time I did, you can buy my book. It's called Free Outside, anywhere books are sold. So appetite, peeing a lot, atrophied muscles, building back my body. But I'm trying to do some mobility work, some stretching, some lighter work, and just being patient. I have nothing planned for a while. I suspect I'll have something maybe in March, and then Cocodona 250 in May, and then we will see what the summer brings. But I have a couple shorter FKT ideas of things I've failed at in the past that I would consider going after with this newfound success, confidence, and just conquer all mentality. I was going to put an interview in here, but I think we're just going to keep this pretty short today. I have really been struggling to keep a schedule and everything. It was like, oh yeah, it's Monday. Guess it's podcast day. But thank you all for being here. My plans moving forward, I will be out at Javelina 100, or as I like to call it, Javelina Jundrid, and just hanging out. If you need support, let me know. I could probably help crew a little or throw some ice on you, but I am not going to be doing any pacing. I am not up to running a 20-mile loop. So I'll be out there, signing babies and kissing elbows or something like that. And then from there, I have very little planned in November. We have Thanksgiving. I just moved, so that has been a big thing. I guess this is just like an update us on the life of Jeff Garmire moment.
It's an epic adventure, all for a good cause, one that's going to be hard to top.
I've been getting a lot of questions. I need to answer those in something. But if you'd like to shoot over a question or a topic, that I can ruminate on and come up with an incredible outline, much like this episode. Jeff at freeoutside.com, and our sponsors, Janji, Janji. And I'll tell you what, I have a discount code for you. It's free outside at Janji, and tell them I sent you. Their stuff's good. Yeah. I'll tell you what, it lasted the whole AT, and I'm actually mailing back the kit that I wore on the Appalachian Trail to the Janji office because they want to hang it up and make a little shrine to, I think, maybe like pray to me or whatever people do with shrines these days. So that's pretty cool. I was going to go to the post office, but it's closed today. So one less thing to do on the to-do list. Garage Grown Gear supports this, and we are looking at making a movie about the Appalachian Trail, like a short film or something. I don't know why we use film. I think we're gonna do it all on digital, and I don't think we're gonna shoot it on film. That would be expensive, and still working on a budget. Currently, we have none, but I'm hoping to come up with some. And then CS Coffee, csinstant.coffee, premium freeze-dried instant coffee. It keeps me going. It can keep you going. It's got caffeine, and that is a good thing these days. You're gonna need caffeine. All right, we're keeping it real short. I have a cool interview. I think we're going to talk about the Millwood. Do you know what that is? Well, you're going to learn on Friday, and then some technology in FKTs and the sport coming up maybe next week, maybe a Javelina Jundrid preview show coming up eventually too. What else? We had lots of stuff coming down the pike. I just was feeling like doing a deload recap. A little bit of my philosophy here is going to be to create good habits, emphasize form, and rebuild slowly on the volume. So sort of the faster miles, tempo stuff, and you could call them sprints, but they're strides basically, where you get up to 90% of your full speed. The reason I'm doing that in this rebuild and not going over 4 miles, even though I have like a 250-mile race coming up in like 6 or 7 months, the reason is because now is the perfect time to re-emphasize some of the little cues and things in running form, and just, I don't know, get to rebuild a fresh start. I spent 2,200 miles hiking and hobbling. I would say that's FKT style. Hike and hobble, baby. And now is a good chance to rebuild my running form and not worry about volume too much, and also just let my body kind of ease into the future here. I also was walking around campus because I live right by Montana State, and they had a sign that said, on a frat, that said, kids get arthritis too. So that was a weird anecdote. All right, if you would appease my desires, like, subscribe, give us a 5-star review, and that's it. Stay mid-America and stay elite, my friends.